So today I'm going to teach you how I choose and study colors for my illustration. Just a reminder, some of the topics I'll explain in this video is my personal method and is based on my own observations and understanding as a self-taught artist. There's so many videos out there that already teaches the analogous color harmony stuff, like a video from Bucci.
Mr. Bucci?
I'm gonna leave a link in the video description so you can check it out because I won't be covering it in this video. I'm gonna break this video into 3 parts: how I study colors and values, how light plays a huge impact on colors. Okay, so here's what I do when I'm studying colors from a photo. Normally, I try to match the shade of a color and see how close it is to the reference.
The one I picked is pretty close to the reference image. Mine is just more on the warm side, which I prefer.
But recently, I discovered a better way. I put up the saturation of the reference image to the max. This makes it much easier for me to see the hue of each color without trying to color pick with the eyedropper tool.
Who would have thought there's a jade color here? So this is the hue or the color in the reference that is very desaturated. Now I've turned it back into the original image. Now that we know the hue, we can adjust how desaturated and dark this color will look like to match the reference image. Look how we got an accurate color that blends in the reference image without color picking it. Here's another one. The reference image originally looks like a blue-gray, but look, what is the actual hue it came from? Tease looks bluish-gray at first glance, but the hue it came from is freaking green. If I color pick this, it will show us that it's a desaturated green. Neutral colors are very tricky to guess.
Once I identify the hue, I can adjust how light, dark, or saturated it should be to fit the color and the vibe that I want. This method is super helpful, especially if you're just starting out. It trains your eye to recognize colors more accurately, even those tricky neutral tones or colors that are close to gray. Over time, you'll get better at guessing colors without relying on tricks like this. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. By now, you probably heard about Skillshare because Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives with thousands of classes led by industry experts across film, illustration, design, freelance, productivity, and more. This year, I'm aiming to create more contents for you guys and be more productive on how I use my time. So I'm learning from Ali Abdal's productivity classes so I can stay on top of things. Because balancing university life and content creation can feel a bit overwhelming at times. And Ali Abdal is a YouTuber himself, so all his tips are so useful to me. If you want to learn any skills this year, let's start early and join a variety of classes from Skillshare because you can access all of these classes completely for free during the 1-month free trial if you're one of the first 500 people to hit the link in the video description. Thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Here are the 3 things I want you to ask yourself if you're studying colors from a reference image or an artwork. What color is it from? How saturated is the color? How dark or light? Or what is the value of this color? Here's an artwork I'm studying recently by Suzu Kasuramai. I'm curious what color they use because I mainly use warm, saturated colors. And this one looks interesting to me, especially the skin. So let's ask the stuff I mentioned earlier. What color is it from? So I'm assuming this is from a cold color since I'm familiar with colors that I usually use, which is warm colors. So the hue of this can be bluish or purple since it's skin. How saturated is the color? So now we know the hue. The skin looks desaturated purple because it's not as easy to distinguish. And usually neutral tones are the ones that are tricky to guess. The colors that are close to gray or very desaturated color. How dark or light is this color? The lighting of the character is illuminating the face, so that is definitely on the light side. The desaturated purple would be on the bright side of the value scale. And since her face is not being illuminated too much directly, and the light source isn't strong enough, the value of her skin color wouldn't be too light. So a value is how dark or light a color is when converted into black and white.
If you're checking the value on IBISPAINT, go to FX and choose grayscale.
Each color has a different value, and the easiest way to put this is that different color saturates to different values. Here's an example. I'll make a swatch of yellow here and a swatch of purple here. You can see that just because you saturate a color doesn't mean it would translate to a dark value similar to other color like this yellow and purple. To simply put it, red, yellow, and blues are the ones that has different values when saturated, yellow being the lightest and blue being the darkest value. I like to think about it this way. The warmer the color is, the lighter the value is, and the colder it gets, the darker the value is. Without light, our eyes wouldn't be able to perceive any color. That's why in dim lights, we lose color perception and things look grayish in the dark.
Imagine you are coloring an artwork traditionally. You wouldn't be able to color it accurately if you're using a dim light.
You've probably heard of ambient light, so here's an example. I'm gonna draw a blue cabinet with a red object nearby. There. The red bulb will reflect its color onto its surrounding because of the light. This reflection will appear on the blue cabinet, but the hue transferred will be less saturated and a bit weaker since the object isn't too close to the cabinet.
I'm using soft pastel brush for this part. I'm just slightly painting it in with a light pressure on the pen. If we check the values, you can see that it looks illuminated even in BW. Look how desaturated the reflected light is on the cabinet. It looks cooler if the surrounding color of it is warmer and looks warmer if the surrounding color is cold.
If the object were much closer, the reflected light would be more visible. You can add ambient lights by slightly painting it on top if you have a pressure sensitivity pen, or lower the brush opacity if you don't have any.
Remember that the closer the reflected object is, the more color it can transfer.
In this artwork, you can see that the girl's hair is in the shadow because the guy on the right is blocking the light source from that side. However, due to light scattering and reflection from his shoulder and the surroundings, a warm ambient glow appears on her hair.
This is the ambient light we talked about earlier. You can see the sunlight hits their shoulders and it bounces back to the hair.
Also, apologies if I haven't posted for a while. I saw this comment saying that they thought it was a dream that I posted because I've been gone for too long. Is 4 months too long?
Hi everybody! Kidding aside, college take most of my time. And making content has been a bit challenging lately because I gotta balance stuff. The rest of the video will be a speed paint.